holds the keys to the future of humanity? South Africa's new guidelines on genome editing have raised alarms around the globe. Picture this, a not-so-distant future where parents can select traits for their children like eye color, height, or even intelligence. It may sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but the reality of this possibility is upon us, more imminent than ever. Let's start with a fundamental truth of human nature: the overwhelming desire to have healthy offspring, accompanied by equitable regulations. This is precisely why terms like genome editing and designer babies ignite such passionate reactions. The reality of designer babies is captured in the concept known as heritable human genome editing, HHGE, which is not merely fictional fodder, but a real discussion echoing around the world. Currently, South Africa stands at the forefront of this significant dialogue. So, what precisely is genome editing? At its core, HHGE involves altering sperm, eggs, or embryos with changes that can be passed down through generations. In simpler terms, genome editing entails making accurate modifications to our DNA, the genetic blueprint of who we are. HHGE expands this concept by ensuring that the edits made to sperm, eggs, or embryos could be inherited by future generations. This advanced technology opens doors to potentially eliminating severe genetically inherited disorders, such as cystic fibrosis or sickle cell disease, by directly correcting the genes that cause these ailments. Yet, the implications of altering the human genome extend well beyond simply eradicating diseases. The ethical, social, and safety-related concerns raise significant questions, leading to a broad international consensus against implementing these changes in clinical environments. Nevertheless, it's essential to weigh these significant risks against the potential benefits. For example, consider the possibility of wiping out certain detrimental genetic mutations, such as those resulting in sickle cell disease, which could save untold lives by thwarting grave illnesses before they even arise. This complex balance of potential advantages and inherent risks invites deeper thought about the future of genome editing. CRISPR, a revolutionary gene editing tool likened to molecular scissors, has made achieving these modifications more feasible than ever before. However, with this remarkable power comes an equally immense sense of responsibility. The global community is still grappling with where to draw the ethical and practical lines surrounding this technology. So, why did South Africa decide to pause? Earlier this year, South Africa's National Health Research Ethics Council, NHREC, introduced a contentious section regarding HHGE in its ethical guidelines. This move sparked a significant backlash from scientists, ethicists, and the public alike, as many feared it might pave the way to the emergence of designer babies, children selectively tailored to fit parental preferences rather than the natural randomness of genetics. According to insights from Nature, over 120 experts, including prominent figures such as Professors Michelle Ramsey and Ames Dye from the University of the Witwatersrand, voiced concerns, stressing that the guidelines could create perilous loopholes. They highlighted the conflicting signals sent by the guidelines. One segment seemingly acknowledged gene-edited children, while another section reaffirmed prohibition against such practices. The ensuing confusion was palpable. Did this hint at the beginning of embryo editing in clinics? Could we soon see parents shopping for their children's traits? Or would regulations remain in place to shield against moral and ethical complications? Currently, no nation explicitly permits heritable genome editing within clinical practices. Many countries enforce regulations that forbid such research, largely due to the ethical dilemmas and safety hazards involved. In fact, in 2019, a coalition of international researchers and ethicists called for a worldwide halt on heritable genome editing, a stance endorsed by prominent institutions like the U.S. National Institutes of Health. The scientific community largely deems the clinical use of this technology as insufficiently secure and fraught with moral implications regarding the realm of human genetic modification. The Southern African Society for Human Genetics, SASHG, promptly intervened, advocating for the government to reconsider the proposed guidelines. The chair of SASHG, Lisa Roberts, described the removal of the guidelines as a calculated and suitable response. illuminating the multifaceted and emotional nature of these choices. Genome editing isn't merely a technical challenge. It intertwines with our values, aspirations, and apprehensions regarding our shared humanity, Roberts stated. She commended the NHREC for its willingness to reflect on public opinions and conduct additional consultations prior to any significant advancements. And this is precisely the current scenario. Rather than hastily charging ahead, the NHREC has decided to take a step back. The newly revised guidelines emphasize the importance of further public engagement, deeper research, and comprehensive discussions. This serves as a powerful reminder. Just because we possess the capability to do something, it does not necessarily mean we should, at least, not yet. Let's consider Thandi, a young woman from Johannesburg, grappling with a heart-wrenching decision. Her family bears a lethal genetic mutation. Should she opt for genome editing to ensure her future children are free from the same debilitating illness that took her mother's life? With this personal narrative, we confront the weighty questions surrounding genome editing. If given the chance, would you wish to have a say in your child's genetic makeup? What if it could safeguard against a dire hereditary disease akin to Thandi's? Or what if it meant deciding on traits like talent or physical appearance? At what point does parental love transition into genetic manipulation? Thandi's story encapsulates these dilemmas, emphasizing the emotional and ethical burden of such drastic decisions. A 2023 study published in Nature Human Behavior has shown that people across the globe remain sharply divided on these matters, especially concerning the editing of genes for purposes beyond medical necessity. For now, South African legislation continues to prohibit the reproductive manipulation of human embryos and gametes. Yet, the conversation surrounding this topic is far from over. The HHGE is collaborating with the NHREC to ensure that forthcoming guidelines are firmly grounded in scientific principles, ethical considerations, and public trust. This isn't solely a discourse about science or legal frameworks. It's fundamentally about families and the shared future ahead of us. It's about who gets to choose what is permissible. South Africa's decision to slow the process is not a retreat, rather, it serves as a rallying call for each of us to engage in this essential conversation.